Combat veterans often have interesting and life-altering experiences to share when it comes to discussing their various tours of duty in the military. And while such stories often grip our attention, sometimes a veteran can find personal struggles after they have left the field or in between combat assignments as they try to settle in with civilian life. Such is the story of Desert Rat in the canon Valaverse Action Force Comics universe. Here we will have a look at the backstory of Desert Rat's earlier military service, his life coping as a common everyman when he was no longer active, and his return to action as a member of a new makeshift alliance known as Action Force. And with that, it's time for action. The idea here will be to look at Desert Rat's introduction as an integral part of the Action Force team, much in the same way that I visited the tale of Sergeant Slaughter's own mission files video earlier on in the life of the channel. That's a video that I will encourage you guys to check out if you have a few moments. However, if you want a further peek behind the curtain, I'd highly encourage you to have a look at the documentary titled The Real Desert Rat Autobiography, an emotional video about the real-life story of Tony Roberts, the man whom Desert Rat is based on, which was aired as an Analog Toys special feature as part of Iconicon 2022. There's also an extended one-on-one interview on the Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse YouTube channel where my usual podcast partner Zazel Phoenix interviews Tony on a more candid basis, another video that I'd encourage you all to check out if you are interested in further information regarding the character and the man behind the character. Both of the links are in the description section below. As such, I don't think that I could possibly add anything further to the behind-the-scenes information regarding the character and the person, nor do I think that I could do it any more justice than the videos that I mentioned a moment ago. However, what I can do, and what is more akin to my wheelhouse and videography style, is to go through this Desert Rat specific comic issue, numbered 8 in the Valaverse Action Force series of stories. We'll have a look and a glance at the figure itself, and some of the backstory of Desert Rat as a figure prior to modern times. As for the comic, I won't be reading the issue on a cover-to-cover basis, as I still encourage others to pick up these well-written stories. However, I am happy to open the pages and give an overview to show how such personalized tales can add some extra meaning and importance to a figure that will go proudly in my collection. As far as I can tell, the opening flashback sequence occurs in the early part of 2016, where Desert Rat and Condor are making small talk about a mixed martial arts fight that they are both anticipating, a fight that actually occurred during this time period in the real world. The pair are then ambushed in what originally seemed to be a non-lethal, non-direct combat-related situation before Desert Rat wakes up in the present timeline in a panicked sweat next to an unfinished bottle of alcohol. As the issue continues, Desert Rat is seen struggling to adapt to civilian life, spending a lot of time at a local bar where a confrontation with the barkeep results in Desert Rat being ousted from the building, which shows how he's virtually hit rock bottom in his day-to-day post-combat life struggles. We then see Desert Rat reminiscing about his time with Condor in further flashback sequences, even showing a temporary fallout between the two comrades in arms, stemming from the former's ongoing and growing alcohol addiction. We eventually see Desert Rat approached by what appears to be a mysterious private contractor who is hoping to hire him for an armed, illegal assignment. This mysterious individual preys on Desert Rat's post-war trauma and feelings, hoping to coax him to help hunt down what is explained to be Middle Easterners hiding a cache of weaponry and explosives. But if we know anything about Desert Rat, we know that he would have his suspicions in any situation, including this one. A man of few words and playing the strong silent type, Desert Rat is shown initially to partake in this job to infiltrate the building supposedly hiding this weaponry. However, Desert Rat knows better than to sell his soul to a shady benefactor and stranger. As this armed, suspicious mission unfolds, Desert Rat remains in the intended getaway vehicle, The mysterious individual who had talked to him before and hired him for the job storms the building with his illegal militia, where they are surprised and taken off guard by a group of local law enforcement who arrest the private illegal militiamen and haul them off into prison. It is eventually revealed that the Arab-inhabited building never actually contained any illegal weapons, and that it was actually serving as a free medical clinic of a Middle Eastern doctor, and that the militiamen who had tried to hire Desert Rat had planned to storm the building simply in an act of racist bravado. It's revealed that what led to the double cross of these illegal militiamen is that Desert Rat maintained his integrity all along and was actually the one who tipped off the authorities as to what was about to go down. This serves as a turning point in the storied career of Desert Rat, and all this is to show that even if his life was at a low moment, he was always one of the good guys. As we get closer to the end of the issue, Desert Rat pulls his life back together, makes the trip halfway across the globe, and rejoins and reconciles with Condor, now in the fight against New Colonia. Desert Rat enters a temporary base of operations and meets up not only with Condor, but with Trigger, Eclipse, Rollout, and Killswitch, all now as members of Action Force. We are left with some level of anticipation of what is to come next, and it will be interesting to see where the story goes from here. I personally thoroughly enjoyed this story, as it showed some of the up and down emotional struggles that a war hero can go through, and it makes the character relatable on a deeper level that we don't always find in storytelling. That's my way of saying I encourage any and all of you to track down this issue. It is worth a read. Hopefully with that quick overview, I was able to articulate that the character of Desert Rat, and by extension the action figure by Valaverse, is more than just a cool looking toy in my collection. For those who follow this channel, any sort of well-told story with added depth has always fascinated my over-analytical mind, as I enjoy my years of collecting in this hobby. I would also like to point out that there are elements of the fictional Desert Rat character that do cross over from Tony Roberts' real-life encounters, such as the emotional experience of witnessing the brutal murder of a close friend and how it changed his life and choice to enlist in the British military. And as we look deeper into the history of not just the present-day Action Force brand and property, I'll also note that the entire concept and name of Desert Rat does have its origins rooted all the way back to the days of the original Palitoy toy company. This original 1982 Desert Rat was part of the first grouping of figures released in the opening wave of figures produced by Palitoy, and serves as the forerunner to the Desert Rat discussed in this video. Dating further back, the 1982 Desert Rat itself was a scaled-down version of the 12-inch Action Man long-range Desert Group figure outfit released several years prior to that. And because I am such an enthusiast on toy history, I do find these tidbits of information interesting, and learning about action figure lore amongst the lines that I collect is a large reason for the existence of my channel. In fact, a good chunk of Action Force has its various ties to the past, whether it's Condor and his connections to the Palitoy SAS sub-team, Sergeant Slaughter with his linkage to his own vintage incarnations, be it as Sergeant Slaughter or Sergeant Slammer, Steel Brigade and his own 1987 mail-away counterpart, or Desert Rat and his various earlier versions as mentioned. In fact, his packaging is an amazing homage to the vintage Palitoy packaging as well. While assembling my own growing group of Action Force figures does bring a smile to my face, action figure collecting in general for me goes far beyond just aesthetically pleasing figures for display purposes on my shelves. As I implied earlier, many of the best figures are supported by compelling stories and information that can turn the collecting hobby into a greater entertaining experience, making it more rewarding as a whole. Let me know in the comments section if you are a fan of the current incarnation of Action Force, and in fact, let me know if you enjoyed the original vintage Action Force or Action Man as well. I'd love to hear from all of you. Thanks again to my Patreon supporters and channel members whose names can be found in the description section of this video. Visit patreon.com/toyconnections if you'd like to support this channel further, or click the join button next to my channel name if you'd like to help out this channel in that fashion. As always, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, press that like button to spread this video to more viewers, and share it with your friends. And with that, it's time for action. I'll see you all next time.